Am I audible? Yes. A very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Janhavi Chitale and I am the CIO at Chitale Bandhu Mithaiwale. And today I'm going to talk to you about how we have leveraged tech to help scale our traditional Indian business further. So let me ask all of you a question. How many of you here have heard or tasted the famous Bakarwadi from Pune? Glad to see so many hands. I think all of you here know that Pune is synonymous with Bakarwadi and Bakarwadi is synonymous with Chitale Bandhu Mithaiwale. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our company. So we are mainly a mithai-based company which was founded in Pune in 1950. We manufacture and distribute Indian sweets, namkeens, as well as milk and milk products. Now, Chitale Bandhu Mithaiwale was founded by my great-grandfather and his sons in 1950. At that point of time, the main focus for their business was actually milk and milk products. Every day they would have a little bit of excess, which they started converting into things like khoya, barfis and pedhas and sell out of a very small store. That small store, 75 years later, has turned into a global presence company which is reaching over 250 cities as well as 35 countries. And we are able to do so through our own company stores as well as our channel partners, which include our franchisee stores as well as the supply chain consisting of our super stockists and distributors. I'm sure all of you here must be wondering that me, as a woman from a mithai family business, what am I going to talk about tech today? So let me answer a question. I am not going to talk about any groundbreaking tech. What I am going to talk about, however, is how what I am going to talk about though, is how tech can be used by family-run traditional businesses and help scale and stay relevant even past the third and the fourth generations. At Chitale Bandhu Mithaiwale, we use tech to help us break the glass ceiling. Overall, we've always been very adaptive in terms of new technology. So, right from the beginning, we have invested heavily in automating our manufacturing as well as our supply chain. On these lines, in 1990, my uncle first introduced us to IT, and we had a lot of milestones till around 2012. After that, however, the business grew at a very large scale, and the structure of the company changed completely. The IT systems, however, did not grow in comparison to that, and we had come to a point of stagnation. This was causing a lot of challenges for us because we had a lot of systems. Example, we had one ERP system which was mapping all of our material movements. We had an accounting system which we were using for all accounting related things. We had one system for our franchisee channel partners which we were using to get orders from them, but we had no visibility of their sales data. And then we had another system which our distributors and supply chain super stockists were using, but again we had very limited visibility on what they were actually selling to the market. Apart from all of this, which was happening in a systematic way in computerized based systems, we also had a lot of other things which were done manually or in an Excel based environment. This included things like quality management, maintenance, and most of all, operations and logistics. If you see the diagram here, we have a lot of systems. You can see that we must be gathering some kind of data. But the major problem for us was all of these systems were developed with a local goal at that point of time, and they were not talking to each other. So because we did not have an integrated system, we had created a problem of having a lot of system silos, which were ultimately creating data silos. To give you an example, you've all heard about Bakarwadi. So if I wanted to calculate how much Bakarwadi I sold in one day through all of my channels, it seems like an easy task to do, right? But for me, actually, I had to go to my food ERP system to get a number of what Chitale Bandhu sold. Then I had to cross-check whether the same number was entered in my accounting system because there were a lot of duplicate entries. In the second phase, I would have to figure out how I'm going to get my franchisee data. So maybe I would call all of them and get Excels from them. Similarly, for the distributor data, I would get some from the systems, but then I would have to do a lot of manual work. And through all of these Excel files, I had to figure out what UOM they were sold in, what the identification number for all of those SKUs were in all the systems, and then aggregate them. Imagine doing so much work to get one number for one product. And after scaling, we had over 400 products with over 700 SKUs. So we knew at that point of time that something needed to be changed. Another important challenge that we had was in terms of batch tracking. So as a food industry, it is very important for us to track what raw material batch is going into what finished goods and where we are giving it to our end consumer. Why this is important is, at the off chance that something goes wrong, we need to be able to track everything and recall the product as fast as possible, because at the end of the day, we want to maintain our product quality and not disturb the consumers. However, what we noticed was what was happening in the system was not actually in line with what was happening manually, because of which we again had to do a lot of manual recording just to have a lot of safety. Through doing all of this, we realized that our operational efficiency was taking a big hit. And that is when we decided that we needed a major change and find something new to do. Now, these were the challenges that we faced at the company level. But let us talk about the elephant in the room. This is about me as a woman in a male-dominated industry faced. As all of you know, MSMEs, especially in the manufacturing and the distribution network, are highly male-dominated, and our industry was exactly the same. My brothers were always a part of the company, but I was the first female to officially join the workforce. And let me tell you, whatever problem, big or small, which all of you women have faced at the workplace, I have also faced this phase as I was trying to work my way up. How I overcame them is something which you will see in the next slides. Now, I've talked about what challenges or problems we had. Let me tell you about how the solution which we found was mapped. So we decided to go with a 3-step approach. The first step was to clean whatever was inside our house and to figure out what was there under the Chitale Bandhu umbrella. In that regard, we decided that we wanted to bring everything, right from procurement, production, quality, maintenance, and most of all, accounting under one system. We also knew that we wanted the system to be smart and to integrate what was happening in the real world with the system, which would help us with batch tracking. And that was an important feature that we required. While we were trying to analyze what would suit us best, we realized that we did not want something which was a short-term solution, and we were looking for something which would sustain us for the longer term. That is how we decided to go ahead with SAP. Now, for an MSME like us, going with SAP, not business one, I must say, HANA, was a very big decision and a very big investment. You all must be thinking, was it really worth it? And that is something I will get back to you on. In the second step of our solution, we wanted to have one integrated system for all of our channel partners. And this integrated system would talk to our internal ERP so that we can give complete visibility to our channel partners regarding their ordering, their ASNs, their ledgers, credit control, etc. And also, the important thing that we did was we digitized the claims and returns process, which is a big feature in FMCG. In the third step, we used all the data that we were getting from the step 1 and step 2 and then did a basic reporting module. So, in 2024, at the end of the implementation, we decluttered our original system diagram into something that looked like this. Now, let me talk about, was it really worth it? To show that to you, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the impacts that we had after we implemented this system. Everybody must be thinking that for a company like us, which is mainly mithai based, IT is a cost center. But we don't look at it like that. we think about it as an investment because the returns that we got from this entire investment were seen across all the different departments. If I talk about it from a department perspective, let us first look at manufacturing and supply chain. In manufacturing and supply chain, we were able to get clear visibility of all the stock levels and the internal locations as well as with our partners. We were able to implement inventory management systems based on theory of constraints. And after doing all of this, it helped us aggregate our orders and dispatches so that our production planning at the factory and our dispatches were much more efficient. And I must say that in the last 2 years, since we have implemented this, we have increased our operational efficiency at the plant by almost 40% because it is always running with what is required. In the second area, which felt a big impact, it was sales and marketing. Before I said to figure out how much Bakarwadi was sold, it took me a lot of time and a lot of Excel calculations. Now we have all that data real time on my phone. And that for a small business like us was definitely a big achievement. What this helped us do was, it helped us enable our teams to make data-driven decisions, to define strategies which were hyper-local, which were demographic based. And before all of this, a lot of the decisions that the team took were based on their experience as well as their gut feeling. But after implementing this, I must say that 80% of the decisions that we make in terms of sales and strategy now are based on data. The biggest impact that we had internally was in our finance and accounting. Before implementing all of our systems, the finance and the accounting team used to do a lot of mundane tasks. After freeing up their bandwidth, we noticed that there was a big change in them from a bookkeeping angle to more of a strategic investment. In SAP, they call the finance module as finance and controlling, or FICO. And right now, after this year's end, we actually realize why, because we were finally able to get the strategic control from our head office. Going to SAP and implementing all of these systems, we were also able to make a process change in the entire company and define some standard SOPs with which all the different plants that we have would work, be it a store, a warehouse, or a manufacturing unit. And what this did was it established a protocol which would be present even if we expand anywhere. And through this, we were able to achieve good growth in the last year, where we opened 3 new warehouses outside of the typical Maharashtra area under Chitale Bandhu, and also opened our first manufacturing plant outside of Maharashtra. The important thing from all of this was we were able to control everything centrally, and that gave us the power and made us confident in expanding further. So right now, if somebody comes and tells me that I want to open a manufacturing plant outside of India, I would say let's do it, because we have a strong data infrastructure ready. These were the impacts that we faced at the department level. But at the company level as a whole, we were able to get very good visibility for all of our departments, and we were able to engage all the leaders in getting cross-functional communication, in making cross-functional communication better. So that for us was the biggest win. And I must tell you, being from this industry, 31st March, the year-end process, is a very big deal for us. And this year, I went to sleep at 10 p.m., and I'm the happiest person ever. What we did right now, we've done a basic infrastructure. This is basic as compared to the groundbreaking tech that everybody is doing. But now, the future goal for us, or what we are already working on, is using all of these things and leveraging it to include more tech and making some groundbreaking things in the food industry. And that is mainly our focus. These were all the changes or the impacts that we saw at the Chitale Bandhu Mithaiwale level. I want to talk a little bit about what or how it helped me grow. So for me as a person, I think I was able to contribute to the legacy of my family, and that was a very big thing for me as the first female joining the workforce. The second thing was I was able to prove my mettle through all of this and earn a respectable seat at the table. So through my journey, what I have learned is that irrespective of your gender, If you work hard consistently and if you're able to contribute to effective change in any organization, you will definitely be appreciated and acknowledged, and you will get the appreciation that you deserve. So what I want to say right now is, I know the mountain is tall, sometimes even taller for us women, but keep climbing and you will eventually get there for sure. Thank you for listening to me.
Wow, what a presentation. Any questions for Janhavi?
I think yes, some.
Hi, wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
And my question to you is, you are the CIO, and I've seen, women struggling to reach a position at a CXO level. And there are like multiple type of challenges, from a multiple perspective. It's not just one challenge that we have to resolve. What were those real life challenges, and how did you actually overcome them? From the various perspectives, not just from the one perspective.
Yes. Thank you for the question. I think, like I mentioned, in this particular family business, I'm a part of the fourth generation. My mother and my grandmother had been a part of some of the parts of the business, but they were not working with it full time. So when I decided to join, I think my brothers were very supportive, but the people I was working with were not used to a female from the family working and joining. Also, I started quite young. So at that point of time, I did not have any fancy qualifications or the title that I have right now. In the beginning, it was very frustrating because people would think that I'm young and I'm just here because I'm a part of the family and not take me seriously. It took a lot of persistent efforts to actually convince them that what I'm saying might actually help you. So what I did was I started taking up smaller projects and started to show some change which would help them. And eventually by doing that, I was able to gain the confidence of the entire team. And that is how I think I was able to get the respect and the seat at the table that I just mentioned. Yes.
Hi Janhavi, I'm Umesh, born in Pune for almost 30 years. So I have that soft corner with Chitale, at least in my family. Like, we don't touch anything, amba bafi or the milk, if it is not from Chitale. You know that. The only thing we see is the challenge around the in-store experience. You also mentioned that as one of your focus area. What exactly you are going to do there? I know that 2 to 4 is now no more, in the meal is always there. But what are your views there?
Yes, so I think right now as a company, we are trying to shift from just a store concept to a category-driven company. And in that, we definitely want to improve the customer experience that we have in all the stores. One of the main things is to stay available whenever anybody wants to come in, because that is the need of the time right now. So we are going to be open on all days, 1 to 4, all the time, in all the stores. What we also want to do is we want to give the customers a unique experience when they are at the stores. So something that we are working on right now is, if you come to buy Bakarwadi, then we might have a VR tour for you, where you actually are able to see how it is manufactured. And that customer experience might help you enjoy the product more. Similarly, we are also working on giving you fresh snacks at the stores. So somebody might fry a Bakarwadi and you can actually see it fried in front of you and have it really hot. So those are some of the things that we are working on right now.
We are really looking forward to it.
Okay, very interesting conversations happening here. I hate to interject, but we are running out of time. So more questions for Janhavi can be taken outside.
One, if you can allow, I have one.
Where are you?
Yeah, here, I have one.
Okay, one quick question, please.
Yeah, sure. So, Janhavi, my name is Chhavi Sood. I'm representing Nucleus Software here today. I would like to, you to point out a little more deeper on the AI and product innovation.
Correct.
When you say hyper-local strategies, top 3 pointers that you look into. And the second is with respect to customer journey. You spoke about the stores, but nowadays the customer experience actually is more on the digital sentiment of people,
Correct.
They would feel good, but they also want to position it on social media. So what are you doing with respect to that? These are the two questions.
Correct. So I think if you go back to my slides, I'd mentioned that we are trying to give them a unified customer experience, and that is where we are trying to bridge in the gap between the online and the offline market. At the end of the day, we do want to be available online so that it's easier for the customer to reach out to us. From that perspective, we are starting dark stores in a lot of in a lot of cities where you could easily order from Zepto or Blinkit. We are also trying to expand our reach in all of the areas so that you are available around the corner and you can get easy delivery. In terms of our online website also, we are going to give a new revamp to it. And instead of delivering from Pune, we are going to do it through our dark store. So you get the product faster. So we're trying to link all of this. And also, if a customer goes in the store and basically likes something, then we definitely want to unify that with whatever he sees online. And that is something which you will see in the near future.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Yeah,
Thank you everyone for listening to me.
connect with her outside, please. I'm sure she'll be around for a while.